Hey there, Commanders fan. If you think you've already seen everything in this electrifying offseason, just wait until you hear this bombshell that's just dropped. Behind the scenes movement in Washington is hotter than ever, and there are 3 big names being considered to wear our jersey. So, are they really coming to the Commanders? Stop everything you're doing because this news could completely change the direction of the upcoming season for our franchise. And hey, I'm about to drop some analysis here that you'll only understand if you watch until the very end. And of course, don't forget to smash that like button. It's just one click, it's quick, and that's all I'm asking from you. Let's start from the beginning so you can understand the full strategy. Adam Peters' philosophy was crystal clear right from the start. He's not here to throw money at aging vets who have no gas left in the tank. The strategy is simple and smart. Bring in experienced players, yes, but only on short-term one-year deals, making sure not to compromise the future of the franchise. That brought a fresh new attitude to the team. And let's be honest, it's been a while since we've seen such solid planning in Washington, right? No more throwing money around and getting nowhere. Now, it's about winning now, with our feet firmly on the ground. The clearest proof of that new approach was the heavy investment in defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw, a guy who arrives with a strong presence and stat lines that prove he can make a major impact on the field. But Peters didn't stop there. He also brought in none other than Deebo Samuel Sr. via trade and made a move for Laramie Tunsil, one of the best tackles in the NFL. Moves like these show not just ambition, but strategic intelligence. It's the kind of statement that says, we're here to compete, not just to participate. Now, even with all these important moves, the mission is far from over. Peters only has 5 picks in the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft, which means every single pick is gold. But here's what's even more interesting. Washington still has room under the salary cap and could absolutely tap into free agency again if the right opportunity presents itself. And when you take a closer look, that opportunity might already have a name, Za'Darius Smith. Can you imagine this veteran pass rusher bringing heat to opposing quarterbacks in our system? And check out how the story just fits perfectly. Dante Fowler, our top sack leader last season, signed with division rivals Dallas Cowboys. With him gone, our defense is clearly lacking someone with that strong front 7 presence. That's where Smith comes in, a guy who, even at age 32, still has plenty left in the tank. Last season, he racked up 9 sacks, split between the Browns and the Lions. And let's not forget, he had to adapt quickly after being traded mid-season to Detroit. Still, he showed dominance in multiple situations. The answer might lie in timing. The front office seems to be waiting to see how the draft unfolds, which makes sense. But honestly, given how thin we are at the edge rusher position, waiting too long could be risky. Right now, the most aggressive player we have is Frankie Louvu, but he's actually a linebacker used in blitz packages. Dorrance Armstrong, solid player, but not someone who strikes fear. And Datrick Wise, who was brought in as reinforcement, hasn't yet shown he's the game changer we need. So now you get why betting on Smith makes a lot of sense. And I know some folks might say, come on, Za'Darius isn't what he used to be, he's older now. Fair enough, his prime years may be behind him. But let's be real, he still brings energy, leadership, and could be exactly what this new Dan Quinn system is looking for. Besides, his track record, 69 career sacks, proves he can still make life miserable for quarterbacks. And with Washington becoming a desirable destination again for veterans who want to win, it might just be the perfect match. Now, let's look at the big picture. Adam Peters has been executing with surgical precision. He's not signing players on emotion, he's building a football identity. He knows changing a franchise's culture like ours takes planning, vision, and discipline. That's why looking at someone like Za'Darius Smith isn't impulsive. It's another piece in the puzzle that could turn this roster into a real threat. The coaching staff might wait until after the draft to make the next move. But the big questions remain. Will they wait too long? And is it really worth the risk in such a crucial area like the pass rush? Another bonus of bringing in Smith is that it gives our younger players time to develop at the right pace without immediate pressure. He'd be like a veteran captain in this defensive ship. And let me be clear, there's no way we can walk into week 1 and face elite quarterbacks with a soft defensive front. Smith would also help us in rotation, reduce wear and tear, and bring consistency across the board. And as you already know, defense wins championships. And with Dan Quinn in charge, this unit feels ready to level up. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to pair the most promising defensive player in the draft with an offense that's been on fire since last season? Well, it looks like the Washington Commanders are not messing around in 2025, and the moves being discussed could place this team among the NFL's top contenders sooner than many expect. But before I tell you the names that Pro Football Focus highlighted as potential direct reinforcements for our roster, and yep, there's one who could change the entire direction of this team. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, drop a like, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Let's start by remembering the impact the Commanders' front office has already made this offseason. The weak spots in the roster were clear last season, especially on the offensive line and in the passing game. The response? Immediate. The team secured Laramie Tunsil, one of the top left tackles in the league, straight from the Houston Texans. The guy protects the quarterback like very few can, and his arrival was a relief after watching our O-line give up so much pressure last year. That alone would already be a big improvement, but the upgrades didn't stop there. The Commanders' offense got even more dynamic with the arrival of Deebo Samuel, who will now draw defensive attention alongside Terry McLaurin. Just think about how versatile this offense will be under Jaden Daniels, last season's Offensive Rookie of the Year. The sky's the limit. We're talking about a dynamic quarterback, surrounded by explosive weapons, and now finally protected by a line that gives him real support. But, as any smart fan knows, a balanced team also needs a solid defense, and that's where things get even more interesting. The Commanders' defense still has areas of concern, especially defending the run, second worst in the NFL in 2024, and generating pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Pro Football Focus addressed exactly that in their recent analysis, outlining targets for Washington in both Day 1 and Day 3 of the draft. And let me tell you, the Day 1 pick is exciting. We're talking about James Pierce, a beast out of Tennessee who absolutely impressed the PFF analysts with a pass rush grade of 89.4 and a ridiculous win rate of 22.7%. Pierce is fast, technical, smart, and has an almost instinctive ability to collapse the pocket. But hey, not everything's perfect. The big question about him is, can he help stop the run? Some scouts believe he still needs to bulk up to become a complete player at the pro level, and that could take time. Plus, there are concerns about how that added weight might affect his natural explosiveness. Still, that adjustment curve could be smoothed with help from experienced vets already on the roster, like Cleland Farrell and Dietrich Wise, offering that essential leadership. If the goal is to find hidden value in the draft, Pro Football Focus also pointed out another interesting name for Day 3, Kaimon Rucker from the University of North Carolina. This is a guy coming out with 5 years of college experience, something highly valued by our GM Adam Peters, especially after seeing the success of Jaden Daniels. Remember how many people criticized Daniels for being an old rookie? Yeah, no one talks about that anymore. Rucker could follow a similar path and transition quickly into the NFL thanks to his maturity. Rucker may not be a generational superstar, but his numbers speak volumes. 22 sacks in 5 seasons, with 14-5 in just his last 2. It shows he's developing and knows how to get after the quarterback. Sure, he's a bit undersized for the position and likely limited to pass rush situations, but that's not a bad thing for a Day 3 pick. On the contrary, it's a great piece to mold, especially for a team still defining its defensive identity. What's most fascinating, fans, is how these draft picks aren't just random gambles. They're part of a structured plan, one that began way back in free agency. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn clearly have a vision for this team, aggressive on offense, strong on defense, and with depth across all units. And you know it, when leadership at the top is dialed in, results follow on the field. The draft might just be the final push we need to make some serious noise in 2025. So here's the question I leave you with. Is James Pierce really the missing puzzle piece that can turn our defensive front into a quarterback's worst nightmare? Or could a name like Kaimon Rucker, quietly picked on Day 3, surprise us all and become a starter before we even see it coming? Now, one of the most productive names in college football could be heading to Washington in the next draft. And it's not just any name, huh? According to the latest mock draft by Charles Davis on NFL, the Commanders might come out of the first round with Emeka Egbuka, a national champion wide receiver from Ohio State. Can you imagine this guy joining forces with Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin? Stick with me until the end, because today's analysis is sure to get you excited about what's coming next. The Commanders' offseason already started with a clear message. Protecting Jaden Daniels is a priority. The front office moved quickly to bring in left tackle Laramie Tunsil, one of the best in the league in pass protection, straight from the Houston Texans. This move has already turned the tide for the offensive line and indicated that the plan is to build an explosive offense around our rookie quarterback, who, by the way, was the Offensive Rookie of the Year. But that's not all. We also snagged Deebo Samuel from the 49ers, bringing a new dynamic to our passing game. Now imagine adding Egbuka to this mix. According to Davis, the arrival of Egbuka would solidify the transformation of the wide receiver room in Washington. And rightly so, the kid has more than enough talent to become a reliable weapon for our franchise QB. Over the 4 seasons he played at Ohio State, Egbuka appeared in 49 games, racking up an incredible 3,000 receiving yards and 24 touchdowns. He's not just a fast player, he's technical, consistent, and very tactically intelligent. The kind of player who knows how to find space on the field and become an escape valve when the play tightens. What's most interesting about this whole story is that Egbuka's future seems to fit perfectly with the Commanders' needs. With McLaurin as our WR1, Deebo bringing versatility, and now real chances of having a dynamic rookie like Egbuka on the roster, Jaden Daniels would have one of the most promising receiving groups in the NFL to work with. Noah Brown and Luke McCaffrey also thrive in this scenario, with less pressure and more opportunities. You know that offense nobody wants to face? It's forming right before our eyes. Of course, some fans are questioning the focus on the offense, since the defense hasn't seen major reinforcements yet. But the idea of building an unstoppable offensive system is too tempting to ignore. And as a fan, you can't deny that seeing Daniels, Egbuka, McLaurin, and Debo playing together is the kind of spectacle that could redefine the Commanders' future in the coming years. With a bit of development and continuity in the scheme, we have a real chance to compete with anyone in the league. But what do you think, fan?